Hello, my name is Jake and welcome to this morning mobility routine. All in all, this is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes, depending if you want to do an extra set of something or if you need to pause me just to kind of get the grips with one of the forms or replay me. But I want you to try and do this every morning when you wake up and make this part of your routine. First things first, I will say, you do want to be on a soft floor with either a yoga mat or carpet. I am not, so I'm keeping my shoes on just to make sure there's nothing edgy pushing into my ankles or my heels. What you will need is yoga blocks for a little bit of support in some of the positions. I've also got a cushion just for my knees, you might not want one. And I've also got a futon, but you might have something like a bench, you could use your couch. It all depends where you are really in your home. I've also got my phone just for a bit of timer so we can go through this at the right speed and the right pace. So let's get into things. We're gonna start with some 90-90 rotations to open up the hips, and we're gonna do this for 2 minutes. We're gonna take our feet quite wide and slowly rotate the knees as far as we can go to the ground. We're gonna have our hands supported behind us, hold it for a second, and slowly rotate from side to side. You'll notice my torso is facing you the whole time. It's not moving out to the side. Nice and slow. If you find that you can't get the knees all the way down, don't worry, just take them as low as your flexibility in your hips will allow, and just continue to rotate slowly. Really good one for opening up the hips to start off the day with, but it'll also target your back as well if you feel like you're tight there. Nice and controlled from side to side. We've done about 50 seconds. We're gonna do about 2 minutes. If you find that this is quite straightforward for you, what you can do is you can start to take your hands off the body. It requires more skill, and you will find that you move forward a little bit with this over time, unless you're really controlled. But if this is too difficult, which it might be for some of you, just take it back down to the hands. Good. For some of you, this is going to be quite challenging and you will feel it on the outside hips. For others, it's just going to be a nice little grease the groove exercise to enter the day with. Nice. About 20 seconds remaining. And you'll notice I try and keep my legs at a 90-degree angle on both limbs as we rotate. And one more good one, rotate slowly. Good. And that's your 2, we'll leave that there. So next, we're gonna carry on with the hips and we're gonna get into a pigeon stretch on the ground. So I want you to collapse from one side to the other. Make sure that you have a right angle on the front leg. Don't let this heel pull in, regardless of what you do with the back leg. From here, we're gonna keep our chest nice and proud, and we're gonna think about taking the chest down towards the knee with a straight back. And we're gonna do this for 1 minute each side. And I'll talk you through progressions as we go. So down we go, nice and controlled. You should feel it on the outer glute of the left leg if you're the same side as me, and come out. The deeper we get, the more you're going to feel it. In and out nice and slowly. Now, if you want to progress this further, you're gonna take this back leg straighter. So notice as I take this further back, it's not altered the position of my front leg. Now, I would consider this position quite advanced. And you'll notice I'm turning my foot into the ground. So if you open up the hip here, it will take all the stress of this glute on the back. Nice and controlled. And this last 10 seconds, we're gonna come down and we're gonna hold it in that base position. Keep that right angle on that front leg. Turn that back foot into the ground. This hip is square into the ground. 3, 2, and 1. Good. We'll rotate out. So that should have lit up your glute on that left-hand side, or right if you started with that. And then we're gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna slightly change angle so you can see me a bit differently. So right angle on, my right this time. And we're going hands to the side and down. Nice and controlled. So we're not completely collapsing the spine. We're trying to keep some level of control through the shoulders. Again, if you find this quite straightforward and there's not much of a stretch, just simply take that back leg further behind us. Oh, and now I really feel that on that outer glute. If you do find you're feeling it more on the inside groin, try and gravitate a little bit more to the outside of the knee as you do your little press up. You'll feel that more on the outer hip, so it shouldn't be here on the hamstring or the adductors. In and out. 15 seconds to go, but we're going to hold that bottom position on this next one. We come down and hold it. Keep that right angle. Hold it down. Hold it down. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. So we should be feeling nice and open on the outside of the hips. Right, your next movement is going to be targeted more towards the spine, and we're going to go for a cat-cow. Most people know this movement, but I want us to go for a segmented cat-cow, which is nice and slow and controlled. So I'm going to put the timer on here for just 1 minute, and we're going to work through it slowly. So we're on all fours, knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. I'm going to start in what we call extension of the spine, so we have that arch, that curvature, chin up to the top, and we're going to slowly walk up the lower back. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, rounding the lower back, the mid, the upper, chin tucks into the chest. We flex as much as we can. That means round, push your hands into the floor, start at the lower back again, and we start to straighten out and then arch the spine back into that starting position. Good. We'll just work through it nice and slowly. You'll notice I'm really trying to segment off the vertebrae of my back, piece by piece, like links in a chain. Really try and control the spinal position. Search for more range of motion at either end each time, so that means more of a flexion here, and then more of a arch and extension here. Good. We'll go for a little bit longer than a minute. Feel like we've just got into it. Good. Think about controlling the vertebrae of the spine. Good. And one more into extension. Hold it, and recover. Went for about 1 minute 30 there. Good, so we've got the spine moving, particularly good if you wake up with a little bit of lower back pain, just to get the spine greased and grooved. Right, now we're gonna go for a movement called an elephant walk. Now this is where I'm gonna bring my blocks in, but you could use a bench, something like the futon that I have. We're gonna come onto a standing position. Now, we're going to hinge over and allow our lower back to flex and round. Now, I'm going to place my hands into the blocks, and from there, I'm going to pull one kneecap back while I push the other forward. And I'm going to alternate. Now, you'll notice the lower I'm going with my chest, the more I'm bending through the elbows, to the point where I could actually change my block position or get rid of them altogether. Now we're going to go for a minute of these elephant walks. So find a position that works for you. Timer is on. Pulling one kneecap back. Don't lift your heels when you do this. Just popping back and forth. Pulling your chin into your chest. Flexing at the lower back. Rocking back and forth. Good. Again, if you find that you started your blocks here, if you're using blocks and you're opening up a little bit and you can take them down, try and achieve a lower position with the hands. But this may take some time. It's not going to happen in one session, particularly if you are quite tight back here. And if this is hurting your lower back, be sure to really use the support through the hands and the arms into the blocks or whatever it is that you're using. Good. 10 seconds to go. On this last one, let's hold each side for 10 seconds. Let's do a little bit longer again. Holding the left, pulling that kneecap back. Good. Holding, holding, holding. And change. Holding, holding, holding. Good. Holding, holding, holding. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Leave those elephant walks there. So we should feel nice and open now in the lower back, the back of the body, the back of the knees. So now let's start to move on to our front hips and quadriceps. Now we're gonna go for a movement called the couch stretch. I find if you're tight here, you will feel this in your lower back. So the more you are open here, the more you'll free your lower back. So I'm going to use a cushion for my knee. So we're gonna start with one knee behind us. The closer the knee is to whatever it is you're using, it could be a wall if needs be, the harder this stretch is gonna be. We're lunged in the front leg, and from here, we're gonna try and rise up as high as we can. Say if you get to here and you're feeling this back leg stretch, that's where you're staying. I'm gonna rise up all the way to the top. I'm gonna hold here for 1 minute. You could have things for support here like the blocks. Now, while we're in this, I want you to focus on squeezing this back glute to accentuate the stretch on the quad. So we're gonna go for some squeezes here on this back glute, and we're gonna do 3 of them just for a small amount of time. Count you in for them. So in 3, 2, 1, watch how I push my hip forward. Push, that will intensify this stretch, squeeze, squeeze, and relax. You should still feel the stretch, but not as severe. We're gonna do 2 more of them on this side. Breathe, 2 more of them. Next one, now push, squeeze, squeeze, keep squeezing, squeeze, and relax. Good. Again, it should intensify the stretch here when we squeeze. We're gonna do 1 more time in 3, 2, 1. Push and squeeze, 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 squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Cover. That's right hand side done. Now we're going to go for the left. Again, if you're quite flexible here, you'll find that it's easy to get into the position as I am. If you're struggling, just start on the ground here, move into the lunge first, and position that back leg as far as it needs to go. We're going in for that other round. Give you a second to get in. Pause me if you're having difficulties to get in the stretch. And we go again. That timer's on. We're going to go for 3 squeezes of the glutes. I'll tell you when that first one is coming in. Just feel it on this other leg now. On this other leg. Right. Get ready to push those hips forward. You've got 3, 2, 1. Squeeze, squeeze that left glute this time. If you're on the same side as me, squeeze it and down. Good. We're going to do 2 more. Should really intensify the stretch. You should have a nice looking grimace to your face. Next one, go. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. That rear glute onto the quad and recover. Good, we're going 1 more. 1 more. I'll count you in. 3, 2, 1. Squeeze it, make the stretch active. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Little bit longer. And recover. Nice. Let's come out of that. Let's come out of that. Excellent. Let's have a little bit of a breather. So the squeezing of that rear glute really intensifies the stretch that is felt at the front of the quads. We're now going to focus a little bit more on the hip flexor muscles that run through here at the front. And this is where you will need blocks if you have them, or something at least for support. So we're going to come down into a kneeling position. I want you to make sure that your shin is at a vertical angle. We're not opening up here. We're keeping it vertical. Your back leg, we're going to take it behind us. The longer this position is, the more flexibility you have, but also the more the stretch is going to be uncomfortable. And from here, we're just going to hold this here. You'll see that I'm forcing up my chest towards the ceiling, pushing that hip down. And we're going to hold this here for a 1 minute each side. The timer is on. If you don't need blocks, just feel free to sit here with your hands on your knee. The more we open up in terms of positions like this, the more advanced we are, the more you're going to feel this stretch. The more you take that foot away from the torso, the more the stretch is going to be felt. Just breathe. Holding that there for the full minute. You're about halfway through on this side. Good. Again, make sure you've got a cushion or a mat underneath your back knee. It doesn't have to be done on the hard wooden floor like myself. I just don't have a yoga mat spare. Good. 15 seconds. Try and push into it a little bit more. Can we lengthen out that back leg a little bit more? 3, 2, 1. Nice. We should have a nice burn coming into the hip flexors. So I've done left foot forward, right back. So I'm going to change it on this next one. I'll turn around so you can see my positioning again. Again, we've got right angle, taking the back leg behind us. This is my tighter side. Timer is on. The more upright we are with the torso, the more we're going to feel it. So if you're down here, forward, you're not going to feel it as much. If we're up here, straight away, that pull comes in. You might feel a little bit here if you tighten your hips. I trained legs yesterday, so I am a little bit sore, so I can feel that in there. That's not unusual, but most of the stretch should be about being on that back leg. Again, take it as far back as you can, halfway through. Oh. And we're not opening up this front limb forward. If you do, you'll feel more of your hamstrings. That's not what we're after in this. 15 seconds. Good. Just breathe if it's quite intense, just breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Nice, perfect. We're coming out of there. Excellent. So that is the hip flexors done. This next stretch is going to be the tailor's pose. So you will need something sturdy to back yourself up against. Could be the wall, could be the couch. Again, you're gonna have to get quite savvy with what's in your home. So from here, we're gonna pinch ourselves up against whatever we're using. We're gonna bring our feet in as close as we can together. Don't worry, the feet don't have to be as close as mine. And from there, we're just gonna sit here for 1 minute, and we're actually gonna do some pulses in this. So feet are clamped together. I want you to drive your knees up and down. You should feel this stretch on the inside of the groin. You can hold your feet. If you're a bit sturdier than I am, because this futon is moving a little bit, you could really push up against the wall or whatever it is you're using and put your hands on your knees, but we should feel this really on the inside of the legs. Good. We're just gonna pulse in and out. Just gonna pulse in and out. Trying to get a little bit deeper, feeling more of a stretch. The feet don't have to be as close as mine are. They could be out here if you're really struggling with this. Good. 20 seconds, but we're gonna have a little bit of a hold towards the end. Good. And the next pulse, we drive down, we hold it, the chest is up. Drive those knees down. Good. Drive them, drive them, drive them down. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Right, last stretch, and then we're done. We're going to go for what I call adductor rocks. So I'm gonna place one of my knees on this pillow again. Make sure you're using pillows or a yoga mat. One knee is bent down on here. We're taking one leg out to the side. The further that foot goes out to the side, the more of a stretch you're gonna feel here inside the groin. Make sure you don't bring your foot up. Make sure it stays flat. We're gonna have our hands in front of us, arms straight, and we're just gonna rock back and forth for a minute each side. Feeling the stretch at the bottom. So I want you to think about not sitting down on the heel, but more so pushing your hips backwards when you do this. Keeping my shoulder blades pinned, so I'm not crouched over. My shoulder blades are pinned back, my spine is nice and flat. Really on the inside of here. The more of an angle there is here, the more challenging it's gonna be, but also the more flexible you are. We're rocking back and forth, rocking back and forth. Halfway, we'll do a hold at the end. If you wanna make this a little bit more challenging, if you come down now onto the forearms, only if you can take it. If it was hard enough up here, keep it up here. This next one that we're gonna come down on, we're gonna hold and push it back, Feel and embrace that stretch. All on the inside of this groin. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. 3, 2, and 1. Whoa, lovely. Right on the groin. Right, last time, and then we're done. 3, 2, 1. Good, we're pushing back. With all these stretches and movements, you are going to have one side that is tighter than the other. And sometimes for some muscle groups on one side, you'll be more open, and the others, you'll be tighter. That's just the way the body works. I just want you to learn your body with a routine like this. Good. Again, if we want to make it more challenging, we're pushing in and elbows down. Pushing the hips backwards. We're not sitting. We're not sitting the bum down. We're pushing the hips back. Lovely. Good. Next one we come back to, we're going to hold it, hold that tension, hold your spine, don't let your spine collapse. Good. Hold it, hold it, hold it. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Well, good job, everybody. That was your morning mobility routine. Hope you find it useful. If you do this every day, I promise you, and if you try and get better in some of the positions, I promise you, you will feel like a completely new person. Feel free to redo positions that you feel really tight. We only went through one round because it is meant to be a relatively quick routine. But if you want to do this at another point of the day or maybe later on before bed, you could do 2 rounds of it. Get your own timers on or just restart me from where I was. But that is your morning mobility routine. I shall see you in the next one.